The Galactic Empire had always seen itself as the most powerful force in the galaxy. Its fleets were vast, its soldiers highly trained, and its technology far beyond anything other civilizations could imagine. After centuries of conquering countless planets, it was now Earth's turn. The Empire had set its sights on the small, primitive planet, believing it would be an easy conquest, just another step in their quest for domination. In the Empire's command center, high-ranking officers reviewed their plans. They were confident that the invasion would be swift. Earth's inhabitants were nothing more than an obstacle. Their weapons were outdated, their societies disorganized, and their defenses laughable. As the invasion fleet prepared to depart, no one had any doubts about the outcome. But then came the message. A lone alien ship, unlike anything the Empire had seen before, approached their fleet. Its design was organic and unlike the cold, metallic ships of the Empire. The alien ship communicated with a simple message, but its words were clear. Earth is a trap. The Empire will fail. The message was brief, yet chilling. The alien ship's warning spread quickly among the Empire's leaders, but it was met with disbelief. To them, Earth was no different from any other world they had conquered. How could a backwater planet like Earth be anything but easy prey? The leader of the Galactic Empire, Supreme Commander Varan, scoffed at the warning. A trap? From a lone alien? Ridiculous. His voice was full of dismissiveness. This is nothing more than a desperate plea from a defeated race trying to protect a worthless planet. Other officers in the room agreed. They had faced countless threats before and crushed every one of them. This alien message would be no different. The Empire's forces were simply too strong. The warning was ignored, and the fleet began its journey toward Earth, confident that nothing could stand in their way. However, in the depths of space, far beyond the reaches of the Empire's command, the warning had already been heard by others. Alien species who had suffered under the Empire's tyranny. These species had been watching Earth for a long time, silently observing its inhabitants. Unlike the Empire, they knew the truth about Earth's power. The planet had hidden strengths deep beneath the surface that the Empire would never understand. But, for now, those hidden forces remained silent, waiting. They knew that Earth's time would come. As the Empire's ships drew closer to Earth, the alien ship that had delivered the warning disappeared into the vastness of space. No one had seen where it went, and no one knew how to prepare for the trap that was already set. The Empire was about to make a grave mistake, and by the time they realized it, it would be too late. As the Galactic Empire's fleet continued its journey toward Earth, no one could have predicted the chaos that awaited them. The Empire's warships, massive and powerful, cut through space with unmatched speed. The commanders were certain that the planet's small size and lack of advanced technology would make it an easy target. However, deep beneath the surface of Earth, something was already stirring. Unknown to the Empire, Earth was not the defenseless world it appeared to be. For centuries, alien species who had fled the Empire's tyranny had secretly made their home on Earth. These aliens, once conquered by the Empire, had found sanctuary on this blue planet, hidden among the mountains, forests, and oceans. Earth had become their refuge, a place where they could recover and rebuild in peace. But over time, they began to notice something unique about Earth itself. The planet's energy was unlike anything they had ever encountered. The natural forces of Earth, the wind, the water, the soil, held a strange power, one that the Empire had overlooked entirely. The aliens studied these powers, understanding how they could be used to defend the planet. They spent years quietly tapping into Earth's resources, developing ways to enhance its natural defenses. While the Empire's fleet was still many days away, the alien species on Earth knew that they could not rely on their technology alone to protect the planet. They began to gather the humans who, though unaware of the greater galactic conflict, had long lived in harmony with their world's natural forces. Humans had an ancient connection to Earth, a bond with its energy that the Empire could never understand. The alien species on Earth did not openly reveal themselves to the humans, but they worked behind the scenes. They knew the time would come when Earth would be forced to defend itself. They began sending subtle messages to certain humans, people who had the potential to wield the planet's energy in ways no one could predict. These humans, chosen for their strong connection to Earth, would be key to the planet's survival. Far away, the Galactic Empire remained blind to the quiet preparations unfolding on Earth. Their spies, though numerous, had no idea of the hidden alliance forming beneath their noses. The message from the alien ship warning of Earth's trap had been dismissed as a misunderstanding, a trick designed to sow fear. The Empire's commanders refused to acknowledge that a primitive world could pose any serious threat. But the aliens on Earth knew better. They had seen the Empire's cruelty firsthand, and they understood what was at stake. Their plan was simple but powerful: to harness Earth's natural energy and use it to shield the planet from the Empire's might. As the Empire's fleet approached Earth, they unknowingly flew into a trap set long before they arrived. The energy of the planet, now awakened by the aliens' efforts, began to stir beneath the surface. The first signs of Earth's hidden power were about to be revealed. The Galactic Empire was in for a shock. The planet they believed to be weak was far from it, and by the time they realized what was happening, it would already be too late. The day the Galactic Empire's fleet arrived in Earth's orbit, everything changed. The vast armada, led by Supreme Commander Varan, had crossed the stars with one goal: to conquer Earth and claim it for the Empire. Their massive warships, armed with powerful weapons and technology beyond human comprehension, drifted into the atmosphere like shadows, ready to descend upon the planet below. Commander Varan stood at the helm of the flagship, a sleek, imposing warship named Dominion. His eyes gleamed with confidence as he gazed at the planet through the ship's massive viewing windows. "This will be an easy victory," he said to his officers. "Prepare the landing forces. We take this planet by force." The Empire's fleet, numbering in the hundreds of ships, moved into position. Their weapons were primed, and the invasion was about to begin. To the commanders and soldiers aboard, Earth was nothing more than a primitive world ripe for the taking. It was a world they believed would fall to their might without a fight. But as they prepared to launch their attack, something strange began to happen. The first signs of disruption came as their ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Systems started malfunctioning without explanation. Communication channels were interrupted, and several warships experienced sudden and unexpected turbulence. The Empire's advanced technology, which had never failed them before, suddenly faltered. First, the officers assumed it was a technical glitch. However, as more ships experienced the same problems, a sense of unease began to spread across the fleet. The Empire's engineers quickly tried to troubleshoot, but nothing worked. Their ships continued to shake and rumble in the atmosphere, as if Earth itself was rejecting them. "Commander," one of the officers said, his voice shaking, "something's wrong. We're losing control of the ships." Varan clenched his fists. He had never known defeat, and he wasn't about to let some strange malfunction stop him. "It's just a minor inconvenience. Fix it and prepare for the landing," he ordered, trying to maintain his authority. But as the fleet continued to approach the surface, things only got worse. More ships were pulled off course by unseen forces. Even their most sophisticated sensors could not detect what was happening. They had expected a simple landing, a quick victory, but instead, Earth's atmosphere seemed to be fighting back. Commander Varan's face darkened with frustration. "This planet is proving more troublesome than I thought," he muttered. He was determined to continue, though. The Empire had faced challenges before and overcome them. Unbeknownst to him, the problem was not mechanical. It was far more mysterious. Earth, with its hidden alien allies and powerful natural energies, was awakening. The planet had been preparing for this moment long before the fleet arrived. And now, it was using everything it had to defend itself. As the fleet struggled, small pockets of resistance began to form on the ground. Earth's defenders, led by the humans and the alien species who had long lived in secret on the planet, took action. They knew that Earth's time had come. The Empire was not prepared for what awaited them. For the Galactic Empire, it was already too late. The Galactic Empire's invasion was supposed to be a smooth operation. Their forces, composed of highly trained soldiers and the most advanced weapons, were sent to Earth with one purpose: to conquer. They had underestimated the planet's defenses. But it wasn't just the malfunctioning ships they had to worry about. Earth's true strength was about to reveal itself in the most unexpected way. On the ground, the people of Earth had started to respond. The alien species that had been living on Earth in secret had formed an alliance with humans, preparing for a moment like this. For years, they had watched the skies, waiting for the day when the Empire would come. Now that day had arrived, and they were ready. Earth's defenders weren't just humans and aliens, they were the planet itself. The natural forces that the Empire had ignored for so long were now active, responding to the disturbance in the atmosphere. The wind, the rivers, and even the trees seemed to move against the invaders. It was as if Earth had decided to fight for itself. The first signs of resistance came from the forests. Soldiers from the Empire, landing near a dense woodland area, moved forward with their weapons raised, confident in their numbers and technology. But as they pushed deeper into the forest, something unexpected happened. Massive trees, once still and quiet, suddenly shifted. They creaked and groaned, their branches snapping toward the soldiers with terrifying speed. The Empires advanced. Weapons fired at the trees, but the weapons did nothing to stop them. The trees seemed to grow stronger, as if the very land itself was fighting back. Soldiers were tossed aside, knocked to the ground by thick branches that appeared from nowhere. In the midst of the chaos, Earth's hidden defenders, a mix of humans and alien beings, emerged from the shadows. They had long studied the planet's natural forces, learning how to channel Earth's energy and fight back in ways the Empire couldn't understand. They were not soldiers in the traditional sense, but they had the knowledge to turn Earth's environment into a powerful weapon. One human leader, a woman named Kira, led a group of defenders who had gathered in the forests. She had trained with the alien species that had made Earth their home and had learned to work in harmony with nature. As the Empire's forces struggled against the trees, Kira signaled her group to attack. With surprising speed, Earth's defenders used their surroundings to their advantage. They worked with the forest, blending in with the trees and the wildlife, setting traps that the Empire's soldiers couldn't predict. The invaders, once so confident, now found themselves in a dangerous game they had never played before. The battle was swift but brutal. The Empire's soldiers, used to overwhelming their enemies with advanced firepower, were caught off guard. They had no idea that Earth's environment itself could be turned against them. The alien species who had once been oppressed by the Empire now fought alongside humans, using their knowledge of the land to defeat the invaders. As the Empire's forces retreated, their morale shattered. Commander Varen watched from his flagship, still unable to understand what was happening. His fleet was malfunctioning, and now his soldiers were being defeated by a primitive planet's nature. He clenched, his fists in frustration. "This cannot be happening," he muttered to himself. The Empire had faced battles before, but this was unlike anything they had ever encountered. The battle was far from over, but one thing was clear. Earth had begun its fight, and the Galactic Empire was not prepared for what was coming next. The Galactic Empire's fleet had barely made it past Earth's outer defenses before they encountered the unexpected. Their ships had been malfunctioning, and their soldiers were now facing powerful forces they couldn't comprehend. But what Commander Varen and his officers did not realize was that Earth's true strength lay hidden, deep beneath the surface, where even their most advanced technology couldn't reach. As the Empire's invasion continued, strange things began to happen on the ground. The forests, once silent, had become a battlefield, with Earth's defenders using nature itself to resist the Empire's forces. But that was only the beginning. What the Empire didn't know was that Earth was home to ancient secrets that had been hidden away for centuries by the alien species who had found refuge here. Beneath the surface of the planet, in the deep caverns and tunnels far from the Empire's gaze, a hidden civilization was stirring. These aliens had arrived on Earth long ago, fleeing the wrath of the Galactic Empire. They had buried themselves deep in the planet's crust, creating underground cities that were hidden from the world above. Over the years, they had learned to blend in with the natural world, living in harmony with Earth's diverse ecosystems. But the Empire's invasion had awakened something in these hidden civilizations. For centuries, they had watched the Empires rise to power, knowing that one day the Empire would come for Earth. And now, that day had arrived. The alien species who had made Earth their home knew that it was time to act. In the underground cities, the alien leaders gathered in secret. They had always known that Earth's natural forces were powerful, but it was only recently that they had discovered the full extent of the planet's potential. Earth was not just a place to hide, it was a place of great power. The planet itself had energy unlike any other, and the aliens had spent years learning how to tap into that power. They had learned to harness Earth's magnetic fields, its geothermal energy, and its natural resources. They had built technologies that could draw on the planet's energy to create shields, weapons, and tools of incredible power. These were not weapons like the Empire had ever seen. There were no lasers or missiles. Instead, Earth's defenders used the planet's own energy to fight back. As the Empire's fleet continued to struggle with their failing ships, the hidden alien civilizations began to deploy their new technologies. Earth's magnetic fields pulsed, sending out waves of energy that disrupted the Empire's ships. The fleet's communication systems went down completely, and their weapon systems malfunctioned. The aliens who had once lived in the shadows were now revealing themselves, using their knowledge of Earth's energy to create powerful forces that could stop the invaders in their tracks. The Empire's commanders were at a loss. They had expected to conquer this planet easily, but they were now facing a force they couldn't understand. The alien species who had been hiding for so long had come out of the shadows, and they were not afraid to fight for their new home. Back on the surface, Earth's defenders prepared for the next phase of the battle. The invaders were not ready for what was coming. The hidden world beneath Earth was no longer a secret, and the Empire was about to learn just how dangerous this planet could be. The Galactic Empire's fleet was in chaos. Their ships, once cutting-edge and unstoppable, were now failing in ways they couldn't explain. Communications were down. Weapons were misfiring. Their highly trained soldiers, used to crushing any enemy, now found themselves struggling against invisible forces that seemed to come from the very planet they intended to conquer. Commander Varan stood on the bridge of the Dominion, watching the planet below, his fists clenched in frustration. He had expected Earth to be an easy victory, but now nothing was going according to plan. "Report!" Varan shouted, turning to his officers. "What's happening with the fleet?" One of the officers, his voice trembling, responded, "Sir, the magnetic fields from the planet, they're interfering with our systems. The energy is unlike anything we've encountered before. We can't get a clear reading on anything. Our shields are barely holding up." Varan's face hardened with anger. "This is impossible. Earth is a primitive world. It can't have anything that could stop us." But the evidence was undeniable. One by one, the Empire's ships were losing power. The Empire had relied on technology to keep them in control, but Earth's natural forces, those they had never even considered, were now their greatest weapon. The fleet's leaders had miscalculated badly. Earth was not just a small planet, full of weak life forms. It was a world alive with energy that had been waiting for this moment. The planet's magnetic fields, its geothermal resources, and its atmosphere had all been harnessed and were now being used to repel the invaders. Meanwhile, on the surface, Earth's defenders continued to rally. Kira, the human leader of the resistance, stood atop a hill overlooking the battlefield. Below, Empire forces were retreating, their soldiers confused and disoriented. The alien species who had made Earth their home were coordinating with the humans, setting traps and using their knowledge of Earth's natural resources to their advantage. Kira's eyes glinted with determination. She had fought hard to get to this point, but she knew the battle was far from over. The Empire was relentless, and they would not stop until Earth had been taken. Yet despite all odds, she could see that the invaders were faltering. "The trap is working," she said to her team. "They thought they could just conquer us, now they're the ones caught." One of the alien allies, a tall, slender being named Zalon, nodded in agreement. "Earth's energy is more powerful than they know. they will not succeed. Ceylon's species, along with others who had hidden on Earth, had spent years learning how to channel the planet's energy. The aliens had known all along that Earth's defenses were stronger than the Empire could ever imagine. They had prepared for this day, and now it was time for the planet to show its strength. The Empire's leaders, still in disbelief, began to scramble for answers. They had sent out scouts and probes, but they found nothing. No one could explain what was happening. Earth's energy was too much for them to understand. Varen stood before the tactical board, his face pale. "We're trapped," he muttered. "The fleet can't leave the atmosphere. The planet is holding us here." It was true. The Empire had been so focused on their power and technology that they never realized how strong Earth truly was. The planet's defenses were not just natural, they were a trap, designed to keep invaders like the Empire from ever succeeding. And now, the trap was closing. The Empire's ships were stuck, and their forces on the ground were being overwhelmed by Earth's defenders. The war was no longer about military might, it was about survival, and Earth had the advantage. The Galactic Empire was reeling. Its fleet, once a symbol of unstoppable power, was now immobilized, trapped in Earth's orbit. Their advanced ships, capable of wiping out entire planets, were rendered useless by the planet's natural forces. Commander Varen, though still determined, knew the battle had taken an unexpected turn. In the heart of the Dominion, Varen paced furiously, his mind racing. "We cannot lose this. We must destroy this planet before it's too late." He turned to his officers. "Prepare the experimental superweapon. It's time to show them the true power of the Empire." The superweapon, a massive device designed to release a wave of destructive energy capable of obliterating entire cities, had been the Empire's last-ditch effort for situations like this. It was their most powerful weapon, capable of ending battles quickly and decisively. Varen hoped that if they could neutralize Earth's defenses with the superweapon, the rest of the Empire's forces could reclaim control. As the crew began preparing the weapon, Varen issued his orders. "Deploy it immediately. We will not give this world a second chance." On the ground, the defenders of Earth were watching from their hidden base as the Empire's preparations began. Kira, the human leader, knew the superweapon was their biggest threat yet. If the Empire fired it, their chances of victory would be slim. But she was not ready to give up. "We need to stop them before they fire," Kira said, urgency in her voice. She gathered her team of defenders, both humans and aliens, to form a plan. "We have to disrupt their systems and prevent the launch of that weapon." Ceylon, one of the alien allies, nodded. "I know a way to get close to their command. Send her undetected. The planet's energy can be used to interfere with their technology, just as we did with their ships." With the plan set, Kira and her team infiltrated the Empire's base, moving quietly through the shadows, avoiding the Empire's patrols. They knew that every moment counted, and the longer they waited, the more dangerous the situation became. Meanwhile, in space, the Empire was ready to launch. The superweapon, mounted on the flagship Dominion, was primed. Its enormous power hummed, and Varen's eyes gleamed with anticipation. "Earth will burn," he whispered, his voice filled with cold certainty. But just as he gave the command to fire, something unexpected happened. The Empire's systems, which had been malfunctioning for days, began to surge with energy. The superweapon began to malfunction as well. The weapon's core sputtered, flickering as if it couldn't maintain its charge. "What's happening?" Varen shouted. "Fix it!" The officers scrambled to troubleshoot the issue, but it was too late. The energy from Earth's natural forces surged again, this time stronger than before. The planet's magnetic fields, combined with the hidden alien technologies on the surface, were amplifying the interference. The Empire's advanced systems could no longer cope. Back on the surface, Kira and her team reached their destination, a control center deep within the Empire's base. They had managed to sabotage key systems, pushing the Empire's technology beyond its limits. The superweapon, once a source of overwhelming power, was now nothing more than a malfunctioning piece of technology. In the command center, Varen stood in disbelief as the weapon shut down completely. "No!" he shouted in fury. "This cannot be." For the first time since the beginning of the invasion, the Empire was not in control. Earth's natural forces had once again proven too strong, too unpredictable for the Empire to handle. The superweapon was useless and their fleet remained trapped in Earth's atmosphere. As Varen stared at the malfunctioning systems, a sense of helplessness washed over him. The once mighty Galactic Empire had been outwitted by a planet they had dismissed as weak, and now, Earth's defenders were closing in. With the superweapon now disabled, and the Empire's fleet trapped in Earth's atmosphere, the Galactic Empire found itself in a position it had never imagined: powerless. The once proud invaders had underestimated the planet they came to conquer. Earth, a world they had dismissed as primitive, was now proving to be their greatest challenge. Commander Varen, his face pale with disbelief, watched as the screens in the Dominion flickered. His most advanced technology, the very weapon that was supposed to secure victory, had failed him. He stood frozen, unable to comprehend the situation. His officers worked frantically to regain control, but it was clear that Earth's mysterious energy was too powerful. On the surface, Earth's defenders, humans and alien species working together, had begun to organize a final push against the invaders. Kira, the human leader who had rallied the resistance, stood at the front of the battle. Her team had sabotaged the Empire's weapons, and now it was time to end the fight. "We've come a long way," Kira said, her voice steady but filled with determination. "Let's finish this for Earth, with the Empire's technology." Failing them, the invaders were forced to fight with their basic weapons, which were no match for Earth's defenders. The underground alien civilizations had tapped into Earth's natural resources, and the power of the planet itself was now on full display. The Empire's soldiers, once confident in their superior firepower, now struggled to survive against an enemy they couldn't even understand. Ceylon, one of the alien allies, stood beside Kira. "We've prepared for this moment. Earth's energy is unstoppable now." As the battle raged on, Earth's forces launched their final assault. The planet's defenders used the environment itself to their advantage, drawing power from the earth, the wind, and the water. The Empire's soldiers, disoriented and outmatched, could do little to stop the relentless assault. In space, the Empire's fleet was still trapped, unable to escape Earth's gravitational pull. Their ships, once capable of traveling across galaxies, now seemed like helpless relics. The magnetic fields and energy surges from Earth were too much for their advanced technology to handle. The fleet's once proud warships, unable to move or fight back, were now sitting ducks. Back on Earth, the final push was underway. Earth's defenders, emboldened by their success and the planet's support, pushed forward. The Empire's forces were retreating, but there was no place to run. The planet they had once hoped to conquer had turned against them, and their fate was sealed. As the Empire's forces crumbled, Varen stood on the bridge of the Dominion, staring out at Earth below. He had never imagined this outcome. His fleet was broken, his forces scattered, and his plans in ruins. The Empire had underestimated Earth, and now it was too late. In the distance, Earth's defenders watched as the last of the Empire's warships were destroyed. The victory was theirs, and the planet had reclaimed its freedom. For the first time in a long while, the people of Earth could breathe easy, knowing they had defended their world from an invincible force. The Empire's attempt to conquer Earth had failed, and the galaxy would soon learn that Earth was not a world to be underestimated. In this eighth part, Earth's defenders push forward in the final phase of the battle, overwhelming the Empire's forces with the help of Earth's natural energy. The Empire's fleet is trapped, and their plans are in ruins. Earth has reclaimed its freedom. Let me know if you want any changes or if you'd like to proceed with the next part. The battle for Earth had come to an end. The once mighty Galactic Empire, with its superior technology and endless resources, had been defeated by a planet they had underestimated. The Empire's forces, both in space and on the ground, were broken. Earth had shown its true power, and the invaders had been pushed back, never to return. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth's defenders, Humans and the alien species that had long called the planet home gathered together. They had fought side by side, and now they stood victorious. The skies were clear, the sounds of destruction replaced by a deep, peaceful silence. It was a silence that spoke of the planet's recovery, of a world that had stood strong against an impossible force. Kira, the human leader who had rallied Earth's resistance, stood at the forefront. She looked out at the horizon, the sun beginning to set, casting a warm glow over the landscape. The war was over, but the work was far from finished. Earth had been saved, but now it was time to rebuild. "We've done it," Kira said, her voice soft but filled with pride. "But this is only the beginning." Beside her, Zaylon, one of the alien allies, nodded in agreement. "We've saved Earth, but we must now protect it. The Empire won't forget their defeat. We have to remain strong." Kira glanced at the alien species who had once been oppressed by the Empire but had found refuge on Earth. They had helped defend the planet, and now they were part of the new world that was taking shape. The alliance between humans and aliens had proven to be the key to Earth's survival, and it was clear that together they could achieve more than they ever could alone. As the survivors of the Empire's invasion were gathered and taken into custody, Earth's new leaders began to form a plan for the future. They would rebuild the cities that had been destroyed, but they would also protect the planet from any future threats. The knowledge gained from the Empire's failed invasion would guide their actions, and the energy of Earth would be used wisely to defend against any who dared to challenge them again. Meanwhile, in space, the remnants of the Empire's fleet drifted in the void, powerless and broken. The once proud warships, now just husks of metal, were left to float aimlessly. The Empire had been defeated, and its power had been shattered. No longer would they be able to threaten Earth, or any other planet for that matter. The galaxy had witnessed a remarkable victory. Earth had shown that even the smallest and most underestimated worlds could stand against the greatest powers in the universe. The battle was over, but the message was clear. Earth would not be an easy target again. In the days that followed, Earth's people, united by their struggle, began to rebuild not just their cities but their future. They had learned the power of unity, the strength of working together, and the importance of protecting their world. And as they looked toward the stars, they knew that they would never again be the same. Earth had been a trap for the Galactic Empire, but now it was a beacon of hope for all who sought freedom. And as the sun set on a new era, Earth stood tall, stronger than ever before. The victory against the Galactic Empire had forever changed Earth. Once a small, overlooked planet in the vast expanse of the galaxy, Earth had now proven its strength. The Empire, with all its might, had come to conquer, but it had been driven back by the power of the planet itself, its energy, its people, and its allies. In the weeks that followed, the world began to heal. The cities that had been damaged in the battle slowly started to rebuild. The people of Earth, both human and alien, worked together to restore what had been lost. They knew that the fight wasn't just about survival. It was about creating a future where Earth would never again be vulnerable to outside forces. Kira, the leader who had guided the resistance, stood at the heart of the new world. Her role in the victory was immense, but she didn't seek fame or recognition. She knew that the work ahead was even more important than the battle they had just won. "We've come so far," she said one evening as she looked over the city skyline, with Zaylon, her trusted alien ally. "But there's still so much to do. We need to ensure Earth remains safe, not just for us, but for future generations." Zaylon, ever wise, nodded. "The Empire may have fallen, but there are others out there, others who may try to take what is ours. We must stay vigilant, and we must always be united," Kira agreed. The battle had been won, but the galaxy was vast, and Earth's role within it was only just beginning to take shape. The once hidden alien species on Earth had become trusted allies, sharing their knowledge of the stars and their technology with the humans. In return, humans offered Earth's resilience and natural power, which had been the key to the defeat of the Empire. The new alliance between humans and aliens was the foundation of Earth's future. Earth's energy, once hidden and misunderstood, had now become a symbol of strength. The planet's magnetic fields, its geothermal resources, and its natural environment had been harnessed to not only rebuild, but to defend. Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a fortress. Across the galaxy, the story of Earth's victory spread like wildfire. The Empire's defeat was a wake-up call for every oppressive force that sought to dominate others. Earth, once thought to be weak, had become a symbol of resistance, of unity, and of hope. As Earth's leaders, humans and aliens alike, gathered to discuss their plans for the future, they knew one thing for sure: Earth would never again be vulnerable. They had learned the value of working together, of using their strength to protect their home, and of standing firm against any force that would seek to destroy them. The future of Earth was bright, not because it was invincible, but because its people were united. They had faced the impossible and had come out stronger for it. The stars above no longer seemed so distant. Earth, now a force to be reckoned with, was ready to take its place in the galaxy. The journey was just beginning, and as Earth looked toward the future, one thing was clear: the galaxy would never forget the lesson of the little planet that stood up to the Empire.